Hey, what's up guys? So today I'm going to be giving you my spoiler-filled review of Captain Marvel. I went to go see the premiere this past Thursday, and while I did have a good amount of problems with the movie, I actually enjoyed it. And I want to talk about all those things that I did not like, and I do want to talk about the things that I actually did like about the movie. I think that there's been like a lot of controversy surrounding this movie. You just need to go and watch the movie and form your own opinion about it. I want to get into all that in the video and what I think we can expect from Carol Danvers in Endgame, and also what we can expect in the future of the franchise of Captain Marvel. And I'll talk about all the Easter eggs and those post-credit scenes and what they mean for Endgame. So if you're interested in hearing about any of that, then definitely stay tuned for the rest of the video. But before we begin, make sure if you are subscribed to turn on your notifications to keep up with all my latest uploads. And if you are new to the channel and you like this video, definitely consider subscribing if you want to see more. I always appreciate it. So with that all out of the way, let's get right into it. So Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, before Nick Fury becomes the Nick Fury that we know, and we follow Carol Danvers on the Kree Empire in the group Star Force. And what happens is they go onto a Kree outpost which has been invaded by Skrulls, and Captain Marvel actually gets captured by one of the Skrulls, and are trying to look into her head for a specific memory, and that kind of jogs her memories back of her time on Earth. And after she escapes the Skrull ship, she crash lands on Earth where she meets Nick Fury, and she starts unlocking these memories of her past and who she was on Earth and her relationship. She meets Maria Rambeau, a fellow pilot of hers from her past back on Earth, and she goes to her to try and recall most of her memories, and she does so once at Maria Rambeau's. And this is when Talos comes into the picture, and it is revealed that he's actually a good guy, which was a huge surprise to me. Total plot twist. And Talos informs her about their plan to seek out Dr. Lawson's lab, which holds his family and a bunch of other Skrull refugees. They go to the lab, they find it, Talos is reunited with his family, and Star Force comes to that lab, and a whole fight ensues. Ronan is called to Earth. He tries to bomb Earth to exterminate the Skrulls from it, and Captain Marvel obviously stops him, confronts Yon-Rogg, again is trying to get into her mind and stop her from using her actual power. Carol just simply blasts his ass and tells him she doesn't have anything to prove to him, which I actually really like that. And Carol pretty much sends Yon-Rogg back to the Kree Empire to tell them to relay the message that she's not gonna fight in the war and that she's coming for them. And at the end of the movie, we see Captain Marvel give that notorious pager to Nick Fury, and she leaves with the Skrull in Dr. Lawson's lab, and they go to try to find habitable planets for the Skrull. So the things I did not like about this movie, guys, number one is probably the music. I'm not really too into punk rock girl bands in the 90s, so that's depending on whether or not you actually like that type of music, then it could be a plus or a minus for you. And I didn't really notice the score too much, so it wasn't really that significant for me. One of the other things is that most of the movie was kind of in the trailers, especially the action scenes. I felt like I saw the whole third act where she realizes her powers and she fights off all of Ronan's missiles. So I feel like I saw that in the trailer, and I feel like I saw pretty much everything that was supposed to happen on that Kree outpost planet. Wasn't really too happy about that. I didn't like Annette Bening's characters. So I thought Mar-Vell was weak. I would have loved to have seen Mar-Vell actually being Mar-Vell from the comic, not just being Dr. Lawson. I would have loved to have seen Mar-Vell. I would have loved to have seen Annette Bening suited up, actually doing crazy Mar-Vell things, flying around, kicking ass. That would have been pretty awesome. Didn't like the Supreme Intelligence. I thought they could have used that moment at the end when the Supreme Intelligence is showing its true colors to Carol. It's more sinister intentions with her and for their side of the war, and I thought this would have been a good opportunity to show the true form of the Supreme Intelligence and make it a little bit more sinister and a little bit more scary for Carol, and they would add to the menace that would be the Supreme Intelligence, the whole aspect of her being manipulated when she's actually super powerful. But they really didn't do any of that. I really didn't like that. I thought the villains were pretty weak, like Yon-Rogg. I felt like he, as well as all the other villains in the movie, could have been a lot more sinister, a lot more menacing. I would have loved to have seen Yon-Rogg be more mentally manipulative to Carol. I think that would have helped Carol and put more impact when she does finally stand up to him at the end of the movie. And one of the biggest problems was Ronan. I was so excited when I heard that Ronan was going to be in this movie. I thought it would add more depth to his character, and it would add more to his performance in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it really didn't. Kinda almost lessened it, because at the end of the movie, he pretty much backs out of any real fight, which really doesn't seem like Ronan, even though Also, you know, it's understandable. He was going up against a woman that just took down 16 of his missiles and 2 of his ships, I think. So it's understandable, but he basically just says, we'll be back for the woman. And we all know he dies in Guardians of the Galaxy. So that pretty much, you know, defeats the purpose of him saying that. So I don't know who greenlit that, but I was pretty upset about that. And I thought this movie was going to be way more cosmic. I thought it would be really good at some expository. You know, I thought we would get a lot more cosmic revelation. I really did. And if you watch my previous video about my predictions, I got almost nothing right. I thought this movie was going to be way more cosmic. I knew we were going to spend a good amount of time on Earth, but we basically got no cosmicness in this movie. I get the mental manipulation that Carol Danvers is supposed to be under, but she literally just ripped off that control device like it was nothing. So I felt like she could have done that a lot earlier. And some of the things I'm actually on the fence about would have to be the Skrulls. So I was not expecting the Skrulls to be good guys in this movie. From all the trailers, they seem sinister as hell. And in the comic books, they're a sinister species. But I'm kind of on the fence about it because it was such a good plot twist. Like, it totally threw me through a loop. I did not expect that at all. So in that regard, it was good, but I don't know how I feel about the Skrulls being good guys. Unless they are, you know, setting them up to turn bad in the future, which I'm down for that. Kevin Feige kind of alluded to that because they're a small faction of the Skrulls, so some Skrulls could be evil and some of them could be good. I have faith in that, but Talos, pretty much the main Skrull, the master of evil of Skrulls. I know that they changed a lot of things, like in the comics, Talos, he's like one of the only Skrull that doesn't have the ability to shapeshift, and he's like enhanced because of that. Like, he's super strong. I think in one of the comics, he actually like fights the Hulk. I don't know how I felt about him being just like a regular, relatable dude. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. Other things that I did not like was Goose. Now, I know a lot of people were saying that Goose was an MVP and a highlight. There were some cute moments with Goose, don't get me wrong, but he just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't like how he was the one who caused Fury's eye. Like, he literally scratched Fury's eye and Fury started to go blind because of it. He just kept Goose around. Why would you keep an alien that scratched your eye out around? And I thought it was gonna be way more badass, but I mean, Goose was like on their side for a few minutes and then he just claws your eye out. Like, I just thought it could have been way cooler the way that Nick Fury lost his eye, but you know, it is what it is. Now guys, for some of the things that I actually really did like about Captain Marvel, which was the CG and, you know, some of the action. I thought the CG sequences when she's flying around taking on all of Ronan's missiles and she's taking on Star Force, I thought that was pretty awesome. And the next thing that I liked, which is also kind of conflicting to me, was Talos. Now, Talos was super hilarious. He was probably my favorite character in the movie, which kind of is a good and bad thing because the main character is supposed to be your favorite character, really, if not your second favorite character. Yeah, he was my favorite, and in a weird way, he seemed more human than anybody in the movie. I mean, he had people he cared about. He was doing things for a purpose, for his people. I also really liked Nick Fury in this movie. It was really nice seeing him before he becomes the super spy that we all know in the MCU right now. I really like seeing this different side to him. I think Sam Jackson did a great job in this one. He brought a very youthful side to his character. He had a great dynamic with everybody that he was on screen with and really enjoyed him. And I also really like Captain Marvel in this movie, Carol Danvers. At the beginning, I didn't like her so much. I felt like she was kind of arrogant and I really couldn't really connect to her, but as the movie goes on, she becomes more and more endearing, and I'm hoping that we can just see her in the future put in more situations where she can bring those best attributes of Captain Marvel out. Now, again, this is something that I have said I'm conflicted on, but the plot twist, okay? Skrulls being the good guys. That, as far as plot twist goes, that was a great twist. I mean, I did not see that coming, so that was one of the things that I kind of did enjoy. I think they executed the comedy pretty well, especially in the last half of the movie. And all the relationships in the movie I really liked as well. I believe Carol Danvers, I think her relationship with Nick Fury was done really well. I really can't wait to see them reunited, and I really liked her dynamic with the Rambos, and even with Talos, I thought it was really, really good and really strong. Let's talk about the Easter eggs. Now, when Carol Danvers is changing her colors from her suit, we can see her right before she changes to her official colors in green and white, which is actually the original Captain Marvel colors, so I really like that. And apart from the Stan Lee tribute Marvel logo that we got, which was really awesome, we also got to see Stan Lee's cameo, which was him on the bus reading the Mallrats script. That was super awesome. If you guys haven't seen Mallrats, super awesome 90s movie. I believe Kevin Smith directs it. Really, really funny. You need to check it out. We know that Flurkins exists thanks to Goose. Got to see the Tesseract, and we got to further our knowledge of what Project Pegasus was, alternative energy technology sources that we get from the Tesseract, and it kind of puts a little bit more emphasis on what Tony Stark was doing in Iron Man 2, and actually makes me love that movie a little bit more after seeing this movie. And we got that honeycomb jump gate that we've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I really like that, you know, more connective tissues. There we go. And now for the post and mid-credit scene. The mid-credit scene got everybody crazy. I already told you guys I had seen pics of it before I actually saw the movie, so it kind of lessened the impact when I did actually see it, but I still thought it was good, and it was pretty crazy to see. And the last one, where Goose spits up the Tesseract, really didn't do too much for me. Kind of similar to Ant-Man and the Wasp when Anthony is playing the drums. Yeah, so anyway guys, I am going to give Captain Marvel a fluctuating 6.5 to 7.5. I don't think it was an outstanding movie, not on par with Guardians of the Galaxy or Winter Soldier, but it was a pretty enjoyable movie, especially towards the middle and the ending of the movie. And I'm also aware that this movie is, you know, primarily targeted to women, so I can see how this could be a really empowering movie for women, especially young women. So I think that has to be said as well. But I am hopeful for the future of the Captain Marvel franchise and for Carol Danvers in the MCU, and I just hope they put her in more situations where she can be the best that she can be and really unleash. Yeah guys, that's pretty much it. If you agree with the video, let me know. Let me know if you went to go watch the movie, what you think of it, the things you liked, the things you didn't like. Now that we got that mid-credit scene, we know that Captain Marvel is going to be involved early in the events of Endgame, so that's one thing to note. But when we get that next Endgame trailer, she is definitely more than likely going to be in it, so I'm excited for that. So yeah, if you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want to subscribe, I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.